you. James Davis.
Thank you, Chair. And continuing on that theme, Dr. Lynne, in terms of access to online mental health resources, could you give us an idea of the degree of prominence of these resources among young people? Where do they find out about them? Are they promoted adequately through schools? As a GP, I know that I recommend them, but I don't think all my colleagues do. So is there more work to do on that front?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's no point having great services. The services can be as great as we want them to be, but unless people know about them, then it's no use. So certainly we place a lot of emphasis on that. In addition to obviously our practitioners who in the main work remotely, we do have some face-to-face services as well. We have teams of people who are on the ground, if you like. They're integration and participation teams who work very closely with local commissioners, local providers, and crucially within schools. So they physically go into schools, they support with assemblies, working with school leaders and SENCOs and so on, and GPs. But it's a really good point, and we would love to get our services out there more widely, because, as I say, people don't know about them, then they can't access them. And they're so important in terms of getting people that really crucial early help.
Indeed. And I know you have free of charge services for someone who logs in, but you also, of course, have the commissioned services. Can you give us an understanding of the difference between the two and the degree to which those commissioned services are available across the UK?
Yes, so all of our services are free actually to the end user. For children and young people, they are primarily commissioned at the moment by CCGs, also local authorities. But it's really important for me to stress that our services are free to the end user.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And are there learnings that you can describe from the pandemic in terms of moving forward post-pandemic for young people's mental health provision?
Sure. I think, as I've said previously, it's really about choice. It's so important that we enable easily accessible services in the way that people want them. And we know for many, many years, not just during the pandemic, we know from many years of working with children and young people that choice is important, and that digital access and anonymous access actually is really, really important to them. When we survey children and young people, the number one reason that always comes to light in terms of why they like our digital service is because of its anonymity. Now, of course, with that comes a real responsibility for us to make sure that our services have excellent clinical governance and are safe. But we have to listen to what young people want. And it certainly isn't an either or. It's absolutely not that one type of service delivery mode is better than another. It's just that it's horses for courses. Different things suit different people, and it's important that we remember that. If we don't listen to the voice of our young people, we ignore that at our peril, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Luke Emma, Evans. You have your hand up.
Oh, young sorry, minds. Emma was going to come in, and then we'll bring in Luke Evans.
Oh,
apologies.
Just to agree with Lynne, I think about choice. I think when we think about the adoption of digital, we've seen the NHS really roll out in terms of virtual counselling very quickly and the accessing to the 24/7 crisis helplines. And I think it's important that we understand that for many young people, what we saw was that those virtual sessions, as opposed to face-to-face, weren't appropriate given data access or privacy problems. But I think what we do know is that for young people to be able to have that choice of face-to-face that might work for them with a trusted adult and an ongoing service. But I'd really agree that we know there's services like Kooth, like the Mix, like Shout, the crisis text messenger, that provide a really vital support in order to enable young people early on to get their help. So the signposting feels really critical, but that we're offering it as an integrated model so that young people can have support from those they trust face-to-face. But for those kind of midnight moments or when they're on their own, digital plays a key role. So I think it's making sure there's choice and young people have access to appropriate face-to-face as well as appropriate digital support.
Thank you.